Hi there, welcome back to Bucketsblog. My name's David Angelini and I've got Gavin Callender with me
There you are.
and Matthew O'Donnell.
Hello.
We're just going to do a quick, kind of mid-series recap of the kind of things we spoke about in our preview for the Eastern Conference. And while we're doing the Eastern Conference, first of all we'll talk a little bit about the awards that have been given out so far as well. So first of all, the award that jumped out first was Sixth Man of the Year, and Lou Williams came away as the winner for that. So what do we think? What do you think of Lou Williams winning that? It was not. It got a quick mention when we did our award predictions, but not. He wasn't up there in our reckoning.
Far too many arguments for and against. If we go into it just now, you could do a full thing on that. Should Isaiah Thomas have won it because he was traded away, even though he had the most points out of six men? Or should Aaron Brooks have won it? Or at the end of the day, he won it. He's probably deserved to have won it in past years, and he's never won it. Yeah. So
that's one thing it does seem to play on. When it's the media that's voting for it, they do seem to keep that in their memory when they've snubbed somebody before or it's been a close race before, and they always try and kind of fix it.
Yeah. I think there wasn't really a clear front runner in anyone's mind. I don't think there was a clear Oakley winner. So you can argue for and against some people, but in the end, I've got no problem with the Williams winning. I don't think
it's like when Jamal Crawford won it, when Jason Terry won it, the two of those guys where that's a sixth man. Even when Barbosa won it, am I right in saying that? Yeah, Barbosa won it.
He was running the second unit.
He was going ape shit off the bench, and no one's really done that this season.
So we're fine with it.
We're a wee bit apathetic towards the award this year, to be honest.
I'm a bit disappointed that Lou Williams got it because I think Isaiah Thomas did it because he was a factor on two different teams. I know that sometimes it's been said that maybe it hurts his chances of getting it because he was traded. He wasn't valuable enough to stay on one team, so how can he have a viable impact? But I think him having had his impact on two separate teams. Especially
consistency there, considering you went with Aaron Brooks in the first one.
Well, I mean, he's like it was a coin flip between the two. Aaron Brooks is my sixth man because he did it in a relevant situation. You can't say that Lou Williams didn't do it in a relevant situation because their team playing in the playoffs now. It will hurt him though.
Arguably playing.
It will hurt him that he's just won this award and they're about to get swept. I think it doesn't look doesn't look great.
But I think then there wasn't any great candidates, so it's not.
No. The next one's the coach of the year. That was announced a couple of days ago, and Mike Budenholzer won it. And I said, right away, I've got no problem with this at all because this was a total coin flip, the same way that the MVP race is going to be.
MVP race, I disagree with being a coin flip, but that is Budenholzer has done something with a team that's been sort of struggling in mediocrity for quite some time.
And when we spoke about this is one award that had a definition, which coach has the biggest positive impact on his team. When I look back on this and I'm thinking, it was either Steve Kerr or Mike Budenholzer. Steve Kerr had a great team. I mean, they both get good teams, but you knew that all the players who are good on the Warriors, you knew they were going to be good. These guys have all become all stars because of the way it's coached. They've got 4 all stars in the team and a coach of the year, all in the same year. It's the first time that's ever happened.
But Warriors only have 2 all-stars in the weaker West Conference. Oh, sorry, got that the wrong way.
I do think that the Warriors had the better team, the better roster. Mark Jackson, he got a lot of flack. There were some things he did wrong. He did do a decent job, got them defending. I think Kerr's a great coach, a lot of it, but I think with what he's got, Budenholzer's done a bit more. So I think I'm happy with mentioning him out. I think it was just about a coin flip, but I think Budenholzer
just because I still kind of believe in the whole whoever's got the best record, the coach deserves a huge bit of credit for that, but Budenholzer, can't argue.
4 all stars.
What I said was my head wants to go Kerr, but my heart wants Budenholzer. I kind of still maybe I was hedging my bets a little bit because one of the two were going to get the award. I was kind of fade sitting a little bit, but
I'm kind of the opposite way around. But aye. Budenholzer deserves very deserving one.
Yeah, and it's good that a coach who coaches that particular style of basketball has been awarded for it because that's the way you want to see everybody start to play now. So it's good. I was really happy with that. The other one, I saw this today, the Defensive Player of the Year award. I had more argument with this when I saw it because I thought Davis was a runaway freight train with this award, absolutely disappearing off the face of the planet with it. And Kyrie having not been consistent this season in Spurs? Maybe
Kawhi.
Kyrie.
Sorry, Kawhi.
Has Kyrie played defence this year?
Sorry, I'm jumping ahead.
Jesus.
I'm jumping ahead. But Kawhi not being particularly consistent this year, I felt hurt him quite a lot for it. There's no denying he's a good player who can defend, a number of positions, but so is Anthony Davis. And maybe just in the end it was that. Are they a top? I still don't even know if the Pelicans were a top 10 defence. Is that what's costing?
I still think as well it's down to the whole fact that Kawhi won the Finals MVP last year, and he was probably deserving of one award, maybe most improved, maybe defensive player last year. And I think again it's the whole voters thing where we kind of got that wrong last year. Maybe we should rectify it. His Finals MVP. He should probably be deserving of some award this year, but not his. Kawhi's phenomenal.
Can't say he doesn't deserve it. I just felt like Davis was a better shout.
How many guys in the entire league can shut down KD or shut down LeBron to whatever?
Well, I was going to say it depends on your definition. It comes down to with coaches, is it who's got the best record, who's done the best job. When it comes to defensive players, who's had the most consistent defensive impact, or who's the most destructive player in the NBA right now defensively. And I think right now
you made that distinction yourself actually with saying he's a destroys people. He absolutely wipes them out of the game.
Well, we sat and watched the game last night, the Spurs and the Clips game, and he guarded in 3 separate possessions, guarded Matt Barnes, albeit that's not really defending, Blake Griffin and Chris Paul. So how many guys in the league can actually guard 1 through 4? Arguably 5 in smaller lineups. He's not going to guard DeAndre Jordan, but
it was the stretch he went through, and he was averaging, I'm sure it was 4 or 5 steals a game. There was a game he matched his career high 8 steals, I think 2 games in a week, something like that. But absolutely crazy. He's the only guy who I see picking up point guards, not even his own possession, point guards at half court, stripping the ball, going for a coast to coast dunk. Yeah, he's the only guy I think's destructive right now.
He's done it to Steph recently towards the
end
of the season.
That was one of his 8 steal games. Yeah, the Spurs absolutely ran away with it.
Sally.
So when it comes down to it, I think if you're going to go with the most destructive force defensively, he gets it.
I would never say he doesn't deserve it. I think he's we highlighted him as maybe the second best defender. I think Davis should have got it, but and when it comes down to it. Who's doing it in the most relevant situation? We've said that over and over again. Who's doing it in the most relevant situation? And it's Kawhi.
Who knows? Draymond Green might win it next year.
Maybe, possibly. So yeah, we'll jump ahead now. The next thing I want to talk about. So we'll just run through the series in the East. So first of all, a little bit of chat around the physicality in the Bulls-Bucks series so far. Again, it all coming, I guess, the biggest kind of flashpoint being when John Henson ran over Aaron Brooks. And then just proceeded to just stand over the top of him and dominate him in that way, and the Bulls got quite upset about that. It caused a little bit of shoving and pushing. Was it 7 technical fouls and an ejection in that game? Which I love that kind of aspect. And the Bulls play it better than anybody else. They like to the Bulls like to get a bit physical and get a bit rough with people, and I think it's great to watch. Again, old school point of view, because since the Malice at the Palace have been trying do everything they can to kind of clamp down on that kind of thing happening in the game. But I love it. It shows them that it's so passionate. It's the way I like to even play as well. It's good when that happens. I think.
If you're not willing to go in a game and put yourself on the line, put your body on the line a little bit, then just get out. If you're not willing to go after the ball a little bit, put your body in that situation.
Boys, you see me play. I'll go eyeball with refs. I'll go eyeball with anyway, and let's see if you're in my way. I will. You know what it's like, but. I think there is a place for it in the game. I think it's kind of something that has been lost, but I think when you look at the way the game's going, it's not something that's going to be a major feature, particularly when you get teams like Golden State who are achieving so much success through the way they play, teams like the Spurs, teams like the Hawks who, the Bucks and the Bulls, all credit to the Bulls may be a different case, but you do that to the Hawks, it doesn't matter. The Hawks are still going to pass the ball and they're going to make that extra pass. Physicality has left the game. You're not going to get a guy like Bill Laimbeer coming back in the league ever again.
The Bulls are really the only team.
I hope that's not true, because I like that kind of that physical way of playing basketball. It just adds a completely different dimension. Obviously, it can go too far, like Malice at the Palace and Rudy Tomjanovic, getting decked by I can't remember the name of the player, but you get proper
Andrew Bynum. What was it? Puncturing one of JJ Barea's lungs.
Yeah. These things are obviously too far. Nobody like that Rudy Tomjanovic one. People stayed in the hospital all night with him. Didn't think he was going to make it. That's too far. But that's a very, very rare thing. And that can still happen, even though it is now. If you're going to try and kill somebody, you're going to be deterred by the fact that you might get a game suspension. You know what I mean?
No, that's it.
I like watching them play physical. I like to watch them, like, see them care. And I like guys being passionate about it.
As long as it stays as part of the game.
As long as there's a lid on it and it stays part of the game, yeah.
If you're looking at the Bulls, they play physical, they play inside. Obviously, the Bucks are wanting to retaliate. It's going to get physical.
I think the thing is, like, with the Bulls as well, it's not like they play like in
bully ball.
They don't play bully ball. They play physically, but it's because they play with two skilled big guys.
Mm-hmm.
Play with Pau Gasol, but I mean, it's you going to tell me that Pau Gasol, who was labelled the softest big man in the game not too many years ago when he was at the Lakers, is bully ball?
Yeah.
Like maybe Marc Gasol could be argued that way, but. There's a difference between having two big guys going up against two big guys and a guy who's 6'11" going over a guy who's 6 foot.
I mean, but I still liked it. You know what I mean? If I was there, I'd have done the same thing as every Bulls player, and I'd be straight there. In fact, I'd probably been the guy that got run over right now. But
me fighting your battles for you yet again.
Another news, actually, the Bulls are leading that 2-0, just to completely like you would expect them to. Derrick Rose had a fantastic game 1, had a really, really good second half of game 2, and Jimmy Butler kind of put the icing on the cake in that game. But it looks like he's playing like his MVP self again, but there's always that thing in the back of your mind, like, how long is this going to last? When's he going to pull up again? Every time I see the word meniscus written down somewhere, my heart sinks.
Not to bring the boxing into it, but it's the same time as every time Amir Khan takes a punch, his jaws made of glass the same material. His jaws made out the same material as Derrick Rose's knees.
Yeah.
Any sort of contact, I just think, oh no, that's it. I'm out for another 3 years.
What do we think, though? Do we think that's something the Bulls are going to be able to sustain? I mean, they're going to sweep this series, I think.
I think Derrick Rose gets rested in probably the next 2 games. I don't think he plays a huge amount of minutes. I think you see Aaron Brooks coming in, because I think it's more important that they get Aaron Brooks running a cohesive offense just in case, but also as it gets down the stretch, even if Derrick Rose's knees hold out, he's not in peak physical condition, you're going to need to rely on Aaron Brooks more and more, and you're not going to be running against Michael Carter-Williams. I'm sorry, but Derrick Rose, as good as Michael Carter-Williams is, simply because of his height.
Yeah, he's not going to test him. It's not going to be a test for Derrick Rose, so that's not really an issue. I just expect, get the bench guys in it, get the bench unit a bit more cohesive. Let the big guys do what they're doing. Gasol and Noah putting up between them 30 rebounds a game. Gasol, I think, 3.5 blocks? Was it 3 blocks? So just let them do what they're doing. Give the bench guys a run. Let Aaron Brooks get comfortable in that, controlling the second unit.
I want to see more from the bench. I think Taj Gibson has been largely disappointing all season, and you've got guys like Tony Snell and that who are having to step up.
Tony Snell, I like Tony Snell actually. He's started to come good, and since the All-Star break as well, starting to look pretty good.
We'll get Nikola, obviously.
Mirotic took a hard one. I think his health might be in question for game 3. I'm not sure. I haven't followed that up, but I think he took a tough shot in game 2. We're going to in amongst all that physicality happening, something they won't be used to being Spanish.
Which you need.
That's it.
That's later. That's later on.
Spanish. He's Serbian.
He played for Real Madrid, is what I mean.
Yeah, right. We'll come to that. We'll come to that.
Next we've got Cavs. The Cavs and the Celtics. We mentioned, again, the most important thing about this series for me, the Cavs are going to win it. There's no doubt about the Cavs winning it. The important thing for me was what we mentioned, that they get Kevin Love involved in the right way. They start to utilise him properly. They start to get him factored into the offense and playing well, and they can do that in this series. And they're going to need to do it this series so that he's able to do it in the next series. And they've done that absolutely spot on for me. On
a related note, Kevin Love is shooting 36% from the field.
But he's playing in the right way. I don't want to see Kevin Love as a spot up shooter. I want to see him in the post, getting the ball in there. And for the first half of the Cavs of game 1 in the Cavs and the Celtics, he was playing as a spot up shooter. He was waiting in the corner, waiting for the corner 3 all the time, which is not what you want to see him. And that's why in that game his efficiency was horrible, because he's just tossing up spot up.
We were watching that game and we just it was horrible to watch. He was standing in the corner. You were watching a pick and roll up top. He just didn't move in the corner. He wasn't stepping inside the 3-point arc. Second half, he was better, going inside, getting to the line, but still, 36%. He's going up against Jared Sullinger, Kelly Olynyk. I know They're decent young pieces, but they should not be holding an all-star to 36% from the field.
That is true.
Kevin Love's proven himself, in my opinion, to be good player on a bad team.
What, with the Cavs?
Good stats, bad team.
No, good stats, bad team with the Timberwolves. I think.
Yeah. Okay.
See the thing about Chris Bosh when he went to Miami, right? When Chris Bosh went to Miami, his numbers took a hit, but his actual productivity, in terms of his efficiency, it didn't really dip. And if anything, it got better because he picked his spots more carefully. He chose where to get involved in the offense. He expanded his range. And dare I say it, as I've never been a big advocate of Bosch's ability to defend, he was a better defender than Kevin Love. Having Kevin Love's a very, very good player, but what's the use of him on that team? Like, really, what's he giving you that Tristan Thompson isn't giving you, apart from a 3-point shot? He's turned into Ryan Anderson.
Yeah, not a lot. My issue, that was always the thing with Bosch. You could play him at the 5, play LeBron at the 4, which is his best position, and you wouldn't really lose a lot defensively. LeBron obviously can match up with pretty much any 4. Would Bosch play well at the 5?
Decent.
Kevin Love cannot defend 5s. He can defend 4s, never mind 5s, but no, he can't play.
I don't understand as well how Kevin Love is able to back down 5s in the post. Like, if he goes up against some of the bigger 5s, obviously he's not going to be able to match up against even like a Kendrick Perkins, who's a big body, but a DeAndre Jordan, Dwight Howard for instance, he's not going to be able to back them down, but he'd usually be able to outcraft them. But the vast majority of your 5s he can actually back down, and when it comes to the other way around, why can't he just set his feet, get his elbow, get himself in the right position? No one's ever taught him how to play D.
On offense, at least, we'll keep his defense by, because that's the whole reason why they went and got Mozgov. But the way that he's been utilised by the Cavs now in the second half of game 1 and most of game 2 is far more encouraging. It looks like they're getting him involved, and they need him to get a title. I mean, they need Kevin Love to be playing really well in order for them to win a title, because they can't do it with a 2-man show.
But it doesn't matter, because whenever they're not going to win a title, because when it comes down to it, see the fact that you're bringing in Mozgov, who
to cover up his
is a rim protector, but he's by no means elite in defence in the league. You've got guys like Omer Ashik who are better post defenders than him. Plus, it doesn't matter who they go up against from the West. The West are going to absolutely tear them up on the inside. You could set up with Golden State even without having, say, Draymond Green at the 4, have him coming off the bench. David Lee and Andrew Bogut would tear them to bits. Zach Randolph, Marc Gasol, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, Tim Duncan, Thiago Splitter.
I was just thinking the same thing. Like, see, when you've battled your way all the way through the Western Conference, and you get to play, like, if the Cavaliers are in the finals, you get to play them. How good do you feel if you're Chris Paul and you're looking at it going,
well, just picture if hypothetically the Clippers get there, Blake Griffin, he's went through, Zebo, he's went through Tim Duncan, he's went through all these guys, and he suddenly sees Kevin Love on him. Yeah. Kevin Love, this is my birthday. My birthday is now of every game in this finals.
The key for Kevin Love is on the other end. Can he contribute in a meaningful way, in an efficient way? He does need to be more efficient, but all I'm saying is it's really encouraging that they're actually actively trying to get Kevin Love involved, because they haven't done it all season and they're clearly trying to do it in this playoffs. I've noticed LeBron knows that he needs Kevin Love to be popping for him to get all the way, to the finish line here.
Look, I've been really critical of Houston going into the playoffs, and I've been proved wrong. But I'll argue whether that's Houston good, Dallas bad, or what the script is. But we'll get to that. But Kevin Love's never had to play against a defence that's consisted of Josh Smith at the 4 and Dwight Howard at the 5. You get 2 uber athletic guys who can challenge him for rebounds. Now, Kevin Love's very, very good at anticipating where the ball's going to come from, but no, he can't do it against those guys. I mean, Timothy Mozgov's he's a very average rebounder. Kevin Love's been a very average rebounder since they went to Cleveland, so I'm not sold on him. I've sold every single bit of my Kevin Love stock.
I don't think they're going anywhere. I'll say that. I said that in the last podcast as well. I think it's encouraging. They're starting to use Kevin Love in the right way. Also, an honourable mention of how unexpectedly well the Celtics have played, in my point of view, because I thought this would be a walkover, blowouts every night. They've actually kept it competitive and been ahead of the Cavs at half time.
We've said it a few times. Brad Stevens will not allow them to not play hard. They will win that. They won't go into the mentality win, but they'll go out there. We're going to make you work
nothing
for
to
this.
lose.
We're going to make you work for this.
Exactly.
They've got nothing to lose.
We're looking at the minutes breakdown. It's all 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Everyone's getting a shot. This is seeing what the team's future is. This is seeing what pieces are going to stay. This is giving everyone the playoff experience. Isaiah Thomas has been great, averaging just over 20 points a game. You know, possible 6 man of the year candidate. He was absolutely phenomenal right now. It's just a great experience.
I've enjoyed the series more than I thought I would, because I was a bit gutted on BT when it's Cavs and Celtics and Atlanta and Brooklyn all the time. Like, I don't want to watch these games.
I can't watch a Cavs Celtics. I can't watch a Cavs just now. They make me sad. I sat and look at Kyrie and LeBron, and then I sat and look at a bunch of geriatrics surrounding them. Sean Murray and Mike Miller. James Jones is on the bench, isn't he?
Hit a big shot the other night.
I know, but
he's a pivotal piece. He's a pivotal piece right there.
So is Jason Capone on a 3-point shootout, but nobody cares. Like it's a bunch of old guys that joined like the LeBron bandwagon back in Miami. And like, yeah, can we get a game again? Like, shut up, honestly. Like,
it's good to having that relationship with LeBron James pays off sometimes, because Mike Miller's on like he has a player option for next year. A player option, yeah.
He gets to choose to make millions of dollars.
Or just coach LeBron, GM LeBron, owner LeBron.
It all works out. If
Did he buy Cleveland? That was the actual city?
Not all of it. Just 25%.
We'll move along. And we'll talk about Atlanta. Again, just exactly what I was expecting from that series. The Nets aren't well. Let's be fair. Actually, I didn't think the Nets would have anything at all to offer. They ran them close in game one. I wouldn't say that was because the Nets were really, really good. I'd say that's because Kel Korver started to take mental fadeaway shots and absolutely burning a lot of possessions for them. They almost kind of lost their composure a wee bit then in game one, but they kept it and they won it.
I still think Dave's underestimating. I think Blue they're not going to cause much of a problem this season, but I do think there could be a game. Joe Johnson's been playing. He can make it physical. Darren Williams, these people not playing well, but he can be physical with point guards. Brook Lopez has been quite good.
Here's the only thing.
Darren Williams is physical with point guards. If I try to skip him in the buffet line, that's
Well, I've watched a couple of games with them now, and I'll say the only problem that the Nets pose is that Jeff Teague and Dennis Schroeder can't stop like Darren Williams when he gets close to the basket. He's just too heavy. They throw the ball at him in the post a couple of times, and he's making them look like wee boys, really. But that's not going to win them anything.
Well, unfortunately, he's still only averaging 7 points a game, like 30%. However, Jarrett Jack's been up 18 points off the bench in 22 minutes.
Fool's gold.
I really like Jarrett Jack.
Fool's gold.
Should be.
No, it's not going to continue. Jarrett Jack's very, very good, but the problem is, who's the coach here just now? Lionel Hollins. Lionel Hollins is fired his lot in with Darren Williams, which means that he's going to continue to play Darren Williams, because the Nets fans cannot watch a guy getting paid $740 million a year come off the bench. There's no possibility Jarrett Jack's going to keep it going, because when you're coming off the bench it's that difficult to do it. Whereas if you're in the starting lineup and you can get hot early and you come off for a breather and then start the second quarter or whatever else you want to do, but no, Jarrett Jack, I feel sorry for him because he has a very good. He'd be arguably a 6 man of the year playing for any team other than the Nets this season.
We still going with sweep for this? I think I'm going sweep.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm giving them one.
They didn't look as strong in game one as I thought they would. That's the only thing I would say. They got it. They kept their composure enough. Will Al Horford's dislocated pinky bother him?
No.
What about next series?
No, he's a big guy.
What if they have to play the Bulls?
It doesn't matter.
I think he'll be okay.
But we all know that Joakim Noah has seen that, and if, he was going to take a swipe at that a couple of times just to let him know that he knows.
Aye, but the thing is, like, you look at Al Horford, see when it comes to the playoffs, like, Al Horford's a champion. He won the national championship when he was at Florida with
Joakim Noah.
Corey Brewer, who's also in the playoffs.
Yes.
Florida well represented from that 2007 championship. 2006. The 2007 championship, 2007 they get drafted. But yeah, I think that if it comes down to it between the Bulls and the Hawks, it's not going to be down to Hofford's dislocated pinky.
Yeah, no.
That's not going to swing the series.
I just don't know that it's going to happen though. If they have to play the Bills, Noah's going to take a hit at that. Noah's going to hit him there.
Noah wasn't the star in that team. Hofford was the star in that team.
I know.
Hofford should have been taken second overall in that draft with Durant first, and for some reason,
Well, it's easy to look back on it now and
no,
say,
but Portland decided to go all
Jesus, bad draft picks is definitely a podcast for another day.
we'll do that another time.
Yeah.
We'll move on to Wizards Raptors now. This is one that we all thought was going to be way more competitive than it was. I said
days.
Wizards in 7. Oh, it is early, but I think we can might get a game now. The Raptors. I said 7 games with Wizards taking it in 7. Being a really close
Right now, the Raptors are up on the bridge of the Titanic, playing their violins while the ship's going down.
They lost 2 at home, and now they have to go and play 2 in Washington, and hope that they're going to drop one of these when they've actually been playing phenomenal. And again, shows you why they've got Paul Pierce. Why they signed Paul Pierce? Why they want to be here? Because this is his time.
I might be wrong, however, I believe that in the first podcast we did in the playoffs for the East, I believe that my words were that the series would hinge on Bradley Beal. Now, I believe that Bradley Beal and John Wall went off in one evening.
Yeah, 26 for Wall last game, 28 for Beal.
I believe that Bradley Beal played how many minutes was it?
Oh, 41 I want to say.
He played 47 in the first game.
Yeah.
They're playing him a lot.
So I said that the Raptors would win provided Bradley Beal was unable to stay healthy and wasn't playing well. So
oh no.
Well, cop out.
Yeah.
Okay.
no, here look.
The evidence is there.
I qualified it when I said it, and it's all over the YouTube for people to see.
Well, me and Dave both said what we said.
I said we both said Wizards in 7. Now we are wrong as well. We have to hold our hands up and say we are wrong.
No, you don't know you're wrong yet. You don't know you're wrong.
We're pretty damn sure we're wrong, Gav.
You don't know.
We'll see. Again, I'll say this for all the 4 seeds that we just mentioned. If the other team, I mean these are all 2-0, aren't they? If the other team's going to take a game, it's going to be in this third game when the series switches back to the other city.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going to put a bet on all the home teams tonight.
That could work, yeah. But just to say, all the home teams are 2-0 up, apart from the Raptors because they've dropped 2 at home. So it's now going back to Washington.
Yeah.
But Paul Pierce has been the difference. He's been the calming presence.
The stadium force. Okay, we'll just take a break just now, and we'll be back in a minute with the Western Conference. Thanks, guys.